Modern life is full of time thieves. Whether it's your phone buzzing in your pocket with the latest tweet, a colleague interrupting you in the middle of an important task, or the daily barrage of emails, your time is constantly being stolen from you, minute by minute, hour by hour. And once you've lost that time, you can never get it back again. To remain focused and make sure these time thieves don't get the upper hand, you need to keep a few tricks up your sleeve. Do you ever wish you could have an extra hour in the day to read, exercise, or hang out with the people you love? Well, you can, and there's no magic required. But first, you need to understand how precious time is. That's why the first secret of time management is learning that time is your most valuable asset, and that, once it's lost, you can never get it back. A good way to monitor this precious resource is by breaking it down. For instance, there are 1,440 minutes in a day, each of which should be invested wisely. Okay, now that you appreciate how valuable time is, it's time to start prioritizing it. This is where the second secret comes in. Determine and prioritize your most important task, or your MID. This is the single task that will have the biggest impact on your life or work. Just take Toys Macken, a professor at the University of Missouri St. Louis. She found that one of the most important productivity determinants is the ability to identify priorities. So pinpointing an MID is central to time management. Lots of people are weighed down by never-ending to-do lists. Take a look at yours. How many of the tasks have been lingering there for weeks, unnecessarily stressing you out? You probably have at least a few such tasks, and the best way to deal with them is by pulling out a good old-fashioned calendar. Research has found that an average of 41% of items on to-do lists never actually get completed. One of the reasons for this shocking statistic is that the tasks on such lists usually aren't accompanied by a note stating how long it'll take to complete them. As a result, tasks that are more difficult or less important generally get left undone. The Olympic gymnast Shannon Miller offers a good example. She succeeded at spending time with her family, completing her school obligations, training for the Olympics, and even doing media interviews, all by scheduling time for important tasks. This strategy is known as time blocking or time boxing, and, incredibly, all it requires is maintaining a detailed calendar. By doing so, Miller forced herself to prioritize tasks that would bring her closer to achieving her goal, and to this day, she keeps an almost minute-by-minute schedule. Everyone's been there. An important deadline is creeping up, and instead of working on the project at hand, you're planted in front of a screen scrolling through Facebook, texting a friend, or watching your favorite TV show. Procrastination is a tough one, but, luckily, there are strategies to break free from it and start getting things done. After all, you don't procrastinate because you're lazy, but because you don't have sufficient motivation. Imagining yourself in the future can fix this problem, and it's as simple as asking yourself two questions: what pleasure will I get by doing this thing, and what pain will I feel if I don't do it? For instance, if your goal is to work out every single day, but you can't get yourself to exercise, just imagine having a huge beer belly and feeling totally sluggish. Such a mental routine will get you off the couch and onto the treadmill. Have you ever had an incredible idea while shopping for groceries or walking the dog? Wouldn't it be great if, instead of straining to remember it later, you could just jot it down right then and there? Always have a notebook handy. After all, writing down your thoughts helps you hold on to them. Writing down your thoughts is crucial, as is maintaining control over your schedule. Contrary to popular belief, constantly checking emails is unproductive. That's because the anticipation felt when checking your inbox is comparable to pulling the handle of a slot machine. Often, you check your messages and there's nothing new. but sometimes there is a new message. This unpredictability is addictive, and one begins to check more and more often, hoping for the hit of dopamine that a message affords. Obviously, this costs you time and interrupts your focus. If you've ever had an office job, you know how incredibly boring meetings can be. But that's not the only problem with meetings. Most meetings are inefficient, and you should only schedule them as a last resort. In fact, a 2015 survey found that 35% of respondents considered weekly status meetings to be a waste of time, for these two primary reasons. First, in accordance with Parkinson's law of triviality, meeting participants tend to waste lots of time on insignificant issues. Second, extroverts usually dominate meetings, making others less likely to participate. As a result, valuable information might not be shared during such gatherings. That being said, if you absolutely have to have a meeting, opt for a stand-up affair rather than a sit-down one. This might seem odd, but researchers at Washington University found that meetings during which participants stand result in better collaboration, less attachment to ideas, higher levels of engagement, and more effective problem-solving. The Yahoo CEO, Marissa Mayer, offers another good tip. By scheduling meetings based on increments of 5 or 10 minutes, she's able to have up to 70 meetings a week. If she stuck with the standard 30-minute block, she would never be able to accomplish this. In other words, controlling the timing of meetings will prevent people from sucking up your time. By now you know that it's essential to spend your limited time on tasks that will have the greatest impact. By applying the Pareto principle, you can uncover shortcuts to success. Here's what that means. In the 1890s, the Italian philosopher and economist Vilfredo Federico da Maso Pareto found that 20% of the pea plants in his garden produced 80% of his healthy pea pods. He extrapolated this 80-20 rule into the general principle that now bears his name. It can be applied to a number of areas. For instance, by applying the 80-20 rule to your employees, you might decide that the majority of your salespeople should be let go since they are your lowest performers. From there, you could focus your energy on the remaining 20%, who already generate 80% of your sales, by giving them rewards and greater levels of support. The end result will likely be an overall improvement in sales, or you could use the 80-20 rule in your personal life by analyzing the tasks you do on a weekly basis. Then identifying which of them has the greatest impact. On a normal day in the office, do you ever have difficulty focusing? Most people do, and a little bit of advice here can go a long way. Grouping your work into recurring themes each week will make you more effective. A great example comes from Jack Dorsey, the co-founder of Twitter and founder of Square. He says that the secret to running both his companies was to have a theme for each day. For instance, on Mondays, he would focus on management, Wednesdays would be dedicated to marketing, and Sunday would be reserved for reflection, feedback, and strategy for the next week. Another simple way to boost your efficiency has to do with tackling small tasks. You should immediately take action on tasks that'll take fewer than 5 minutes to accomplish and avoid returning to the same task over and over. Imagine waking up at 6 in the morning, working out for 45 minutes, and then whipping together a delicious, high-protein breakfast. It says that dedicating the first hour of each day to a morning routine will enhance your health, mind, body, and soul. In fact, starting the day with a workout is a great way to get your creative juices flowing. Just consider the New York Times best-selling author Dan Miller, who starts off each day by meditating for half an hour, then working out for 45 minutes while listening to audio programs. He avoids checking the news or looking at his phone during this time, devoting his first hour to positive and inspirational experiences. He even claims that his most creative ideas come to him during this daily me time. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and stay tuned for more book discussions.